right, welcome back to the channel, and today we've got a familiar face with us again, Stephan from Bond Gallery. Stephan, welcome back.
Thanks so much, Dace. Thanks for having me back. It's awesome to be back with you guys, and I really appreciate the opportunity.
No, fantastic. Now, Stephan, some of the viewers asked about the bond process and that, so you might have gotten some inquiries, etc., from our previous episode. What are some of the trends that you're seeing currently in the market?
The trends at this stage, we are seeing a real increase in first-time home buyers. So we really have a lot of guys that realize that the interest rates are in a downward spiral, so they qualify for more.
Okay.
That's a big thing. And then also attorney discount, as we mentioned previously.
Yes.
The banks are more competitive. They offer more perks, also including cashbacks
Okay.
up to 5,000 Rand.
Oh,
Some
wow.
of the banks, yes.
Now, would you say that the banks at this point in time is tightening or loosening their, capacity in helping first-time buyers?
Definitely loosening.
Okay.
Also in our area, we've got a lot of increase in demand. So the house prices obviously increase. So the thing is that I always tell people, if you buy now, then for first-time home buyers, if you buy now, it's worth more tomorrow.
Yes.
So rather buy now.
Yes.
That's the bottom line. And the trends, as I said, is that people are buying because the interest rates, you can afford more.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
Yes.
Especially for first-time home buyers. And as we mentioned previously, buy together. If you can't afford the property on your own, buy it with someone else, with a friend or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the garden route side, what type of price brackets is like your average spend, this side of the world?
We have some properties that start at, I would say, about 1.8 million, but we get bonds up to 4.5 million, sometimes upwards from there, but that's more building loans.
Yes.
But I'll also tell you a bit later about that.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Another question is that you might have seen this as well. When you have first-time people applying for a bond, now, when they're self-employed, there's normally quite a higher risk that they don't get approved. Why is that?
The reason for that is the banks see a self-employed client as a bigger risk than someone that earns a salary. And also the thing is your income is based on what the profit that you make and
Yes.
generate. So it's for the banks, that's why they usually ask for 2 years financials and also management accounts to see exactly in what position the company is. And remember, if they approve you for a loan, it's also for a period of 20 to 30 years.
Yeah.
So they have to know that you are able to repay your bond.
Yes. So what advice would you give to self-employed individuals out there to strengthen their position, when applying?
That's such a good question. The thing is, I've got a lot of self-employed clients, especially in our area, that always want to buy property or also speculate with property. The thing is to make sure that you pay yourself a salary each and every month. The banks are more inclined to give a bond to someone that they know pays an X amount per month towards their personal account.
Okay.
And also to say drawings or salary. But that's the major thing. Otherwise, if you live from your business, live out of your business account, it's a nightmare for the credit managers to know exactly what was your expenses, what was for the business, what was your income, that type of thing. So I would recommend the major thing is to pay yourself a salary each month, and if you can, the same amount every single month.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, obviously, I'm a property practitioner myself, a full status. And, one of the things that I always say is, how can we as property practitioners or estate agents work better with a bond originator? What is like your three, things that you could share with us that helps that process along?
Well, we can assist usually, as I said, with pre-qualifications.
Yeah.
I cannot overemphasize pre-qualification. Start with the pre-qualification. also, I'm always available. The thing is, you being a property practitioner, after hours is most important because that's the only time people come from work. They want to go and view a property over a weekend.
Mm.
So availability, that's also a major thing. In our area, you should know that there's a lot of people from other parts of the country that
Yeah.
would want to buy in the Garden Route area, or they get placed in a new position in the Garden Route area
Yes.
from somewhere else like Johannesburg, Pretoria, Cape Town even. We get a lot of people that want to buy here from Cape Town as well.
Yeah.
So they phone me, for instance, on a Friday evening and say, listen, yeah, I have to be in the Garden Route tomorrow. I want to know what I qualify for.
Yes.
And then it's after hours, but at least with me, you can phone me anytime. We've got a lot of expat clients as well.
Okay.
So their day is our night, and
Yeah.
I don't mind. So we always available. We do that credit check, we do that affordability, and then we give a certificate. And also something, if I can add to it, we have multiple offers on properties usually in the
Yes.
area. And I've realized that someone that's pre-qualified with a pre-qualification certificate, the seller is more inclined to accept that offer to a client that's not been pre-approved.
Yeah. I mean, we almost at the end of December, 2025. What would you say is, a tip or two that you would give to buyers? Let's go into 2026. So what will be your tip of 2026 for or newcomers, that's looking at buying their first property?
Check what you qualify for now, and also do check your credit score. Manage it properly, and saying manage it, go out, try and see if you can't pay accounts before the end of the month, because that will definitely increase your credit check, your credit score, and also it will show that you're not a big risk for the banks. That also helps with internal scoring at the banks, because you've got a risk scoring at the banks. So I would say definitely look at those two things. If anyone phones you from a debt review company, just say no, because we've had so many issues where people go under debt review, they don't know about it. We do the application, they don't know they are under debt review, and then we can't apply at the banks because there's a debt review status.
Yeah.
So, and also to get it then off their records at the bank, it's a major process.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I want to mention a scenario that I heard the other day, and I think it's very important for people to realize this point, because it's an actual event that has an effect in your buying capacity. So somebody qualified for a bond, but they then went and made an additional loan prior to the bond being approved.
Yes.
Now, you've probably had this incident as well.
A few times.
Yes.
Yes.
So maybe just give us some insight from your side on that as well.
Very, very important is that once we do an application to the banks, they look at your current expenses and income and all of those type of things. If you do a new loan application, usually people go for maximum. So if they can qualify for a car for R1 million, they'll go for it. But then your repayment will be like 10, 12, 13,000 Rand a month. So that then affects your affordability.
Yeah.
And then the banks will review your application. And I've had instances where people lost their property or their loan, their bond with the bank because of that.
Yeah, because I think they think, I've been approved now for this. Now I can apply for that. I'm approved here as well. But it doesn't work like that.
No.
Up until the point where the actual bond or loan has kicked off, then it only counts, from there off, not to pre-approval state. And I think that's the misconception that a lot of people they've got in the market.
And we've had, as I said, I've had instances. I had a client that we had to look for 150 Rand to get the deal through again. Yeah. So the transaction through again. So it was actually very, very labor intensive to try and see how we can save up 150 Rand. You can't believe it. It doesn't sound like much.
No, but
But if you buy at a maximum amount,
Yeah.
as we all do usually, then 150 Rand is a lot of
Yeah.
money.
So as you hear from Stephan now, make sure every cent is counted effectively, because it could just be you that needs that 150. So
exactly.
Stephan, another question that I've got is, with times changing, the world evolving, bond originating now as we speak, with technology and automation, what are you guys seeing in this space? And also, what do you anticipate for the future?
It's an excellent concept. I believe in AI. The thing is that we've started touching on it, and our head office is also developing their own AI.
Okay.
So it really assists us, but it will never replace us.
Yeah.
That's the major thing. We've also had instances where we did the whole testing phase, and AI do make mistakes, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So there will always be a human intervention. So that's something that I always say. But we try and keep to the trends. We try and keep up with new technology. So we are definitely watch the space part of the AI process, and we really know that AI will transform our lives as we know it.
No, absolutely. I always say to people, I've held many roles in my business, private, personal capacity over the years. And I always say numbers, it allows you to make informed decisions. If you've got information, and you can analyze it, you can make an informed decision around that. And I feel the AI space just allows for more calculation. However, if you don't understand how you got to that end and you can't work it back, you're going to have a problem. So I agree
Exactly.
with you. I think there'll always be a human factor, and hopefully, we don't get lazy with AI
Exactly.
just being able to do all of these things for us. Another question that I've got for you is, what is an aha moment in Stephan's world when you're dealing with clients on the daily basis?
You know what the thing is? I've realized there's actually a lot because it's such a process, and I've had so many people that they don't understand the whole process, what
Mm,
we do, what's happening next. And for them just to realize the whole process, they're like, oh, that makes sense. So that's actually more, I would say, a aha moment, but also knowing that people know exactly what they are in for,
mm,
basically.
mm.
Because, these people don't read. And when I explain the offers from the banks, they usually also have an aha moment. They're like, oh, now I understand. And I
Yes.
understand. And remember, we do this every single day.
Yeah.
That's also something that I want to mention is that people ask me, what's the catch?
Mm,
Is there anything that I'm signing my life away or anything like that?
yeah.
But having a bond is actually such an amazing product from the banks because you can use it as a savings account as well.
Yes.
So put extra money into it. All the applications that we do are access bonds. So whatever you put in extra, you can always withdraw.
Yeah.
So I've had people where they say, "Okay, let me borrow money on my bond because I want to buy another car, and the interest rate is much less."
Yes. Yeah, and I think that's a valid point. I think
Yes,
knowing where you could essentially save money,
yes,
in hindsight, based on what you already have in
yes.
place. Seeing as you guys dealing with the banks on a daily basis, what is like a one-time thing that you wish they would change?
You know what, Thais? That's stepping on toes. But my personal thing is buying a property, people have to realize that there's transfer duties, there's transfer attorney fees,
Yeah.
bond attorney fees, and it can be quite extensive.
Yes. Depending
So
on the value of the property.
exactly,
Yeah.
yes. So I would actually say I wish that the banks would just give everyone that extra money on their bond, like
Mm.
with the first time home buyer, where they offer 105 to 108%, or even 110.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would actually recommend just borrow the money on the property. I know and understand that property value, but if you look at it, the banks will still make their money. They
Yeah.
will still get the money back. Because if you borrow that money, it's over a 20-year term or 30-year term.
Yes.
But not everyone has that kind of money to do a bond application
Yeah.
or to buy a property.
Yeah.
So,
And I think it's also important to realize, the breakdown of what you need additional funds for. It's not
yes,
like you qualify for that amount for the home and you're good to go. Like you
yes,
said, there are transfer fees, there are attorney fees, etc., that you need to look at covering as well. And I think that's also one of the important reasons why it's so important to speak to a professional to understand those costs involved, so that you can then make an informed decision.
exactly. Yeah. And something also to note is that um, transfer duty, that's the majority of the fee. So that's basically like a tax that SARS um, also puts on every property or purchase or transfer or whatever. So, and that could be a lot of money.
Yeah.
But up to 1.2 million, you don't pay transfer duty. And something that I've also realized is that people advertise that there's no transfer fees, or
Mm.
well, that's what people think. But that's actually the transfer duty if it's below 1.2 million, especially on building loans. So you're transferring a property that's below 1.2 million, you won't pay the transfer duty, but there's still a lawyer that does the transfer. So that's something that I want to also discuss, because people do not know this, and then
Yes.
they realize that at the end, listen, yeah, there's still a transferring attorney and they still have a fee. It's just the transfer duty that they don't need to pay.
Yeah. And I think once again, that's the importance of having the knowledge
Yes,
and getting the information from the professionals.
yes,
Because we play an advisory role
yeah,
at the end of the day. It's why I say also, in one of the other podcasts that I had, we spoke about, what do we as property practitioners need to have in place to give peace of mind back to the consumer? Like your fidelity certificate.
yes.
You need to understand the POPI Act, the consumer protection. Your FICA regulations. And it's similar when, individuals deal with you. You need to have all of that peace of mind. So when you then obviously make your decision, that all the boxes have been ticked.
And it's important that you mention that. We also recently, we've got a governing body, MORGSA. So, and you'll see below my signature, I am MORGSA registered. So we are all above board. And you know that there's also, if say for instance, I did something wrong, then there is a governing body. So you will know
Yes.
that you will have support. But I always try and do everything according to the book. So,
Yes, absolutely.
and give the best service and get the best deals for our clients and always be available.
Fantastic. Stephan, thank you so much once again. But tell me, if anybody wants to reach out to you, where can they find your details again?
Yeah, we'll also share it on the video, but they can always contact me on my cell phone number, and my number is 067 080 7525, or even on my email address, which is Stephan, Stephan, and another S for my surname at bondgallery.co.za.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's not a plural. It's not Stephan's. There's only
No,
one of you.
yes, exactly.
Right. So once again, if you are in the process of applying for your first home loan, get in touch with Stephan. See if he can assist you in any form of way. The service is free. We're going to emphasize on the free once again. And Stephan, it's been a pleasure once again. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thanks, Dace. Thanks so much for having me.
Ciao.
Ciao.
We are Bond Gallery, your bond finder, taking the stress off. We make it kinder. You find the house, we'll find the home. Together, you'll never be alone.